you're seeing an evangelical side to Christianity that is harboring some sort of hate towards the other. And in Islam, certainly, since 9/11, you've seen a strand of Islam far away from the teachings of Fatima, and a strand of Christianity, in response, far away from the teachings of Mary. So therefore, our aim has to be to sit back and reflect on these two ladies who themselves never led wars, never ordered killings.
Quite right.
And on the contrary, were victims in some cases of oppression in their time, but maintained dignity throughout. And I think that type of dignity and the study of the biography of the two is fundamental in the West, especially now. Because when you're looking in Europe and you're looking at other parts of the world, there's a far-right element in Christianity and a far-right element in Islam, and both receive most of the headlines.
Sure.
You know, no one's really going to look at tolerant Islam or tolerant Christianity. No one's really going to look at the Christians who've worked their hardest to bring medical aid to Muslim refugees, or Muslims who have helped Christian children on seashores to ensure that they're safe away from the dangers of ISIS and so on. So both religions at the moment require a return to their figures who were moral exemplars. And I think this return is needed right now.
Yes. And hopefully we'll have a lot of Christians as well watching this. Dr. Ammar Nakshwani, so now if you can possibly speak about, I mean, what I'm curious about to find out is, have any academics looked at the similarities of their biographies, which our viewers can access?
It's a great question, and I'm a firm believer that there's a great amount of literature on Islam by Muslims and non-Muslims which can be beneficial for the Muslim world. The Muslim world has access to primary sources, no doubt. Every religion would want to read its primary literature. I found there's a couple of writers out there who have written extensive role in the Shi'i world, but how similar it is to Maryam's role in the Christian world.
Yes.
And we know very well that Mary is revered in Christianity, but there are different levels of reverence.
Sure.
Catholicism, one may argue, shows a bit more reverence than Protestant thought. Fatima is revered by all Muslims. I think one may argue the Shia have a much greater focus, and one may even argue a respect in relation to Fatima al-Zahra than any other school in the religion of Islam. And anyone out there who wants to look at this can find that there are certain people that if Fatima is angry with them, the Shia are angered by whoever angers Fatima, whereas there are others who don't have a problem with whoever angers Fatima. Now, what happens therefore is that you've got in the academic world, I'll give you an example. There is a book called, and I'd love all the viewers if they can order it, and by the way, I'm not getting any commission by them ordering it, so I'm not just recommending it because I have a contract with the author or anything. There's an author called Thurkill. Thurkill. Thurkill wrote a book called Chosen Among Women. Chosen Among Women. And looks at Fatima and Maryam in Roman Catholic and in Shi'i thought. And a lot of the concepts in Shi'i thought. Thurkill does a brilliant job of looking at Mary and Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. And I recommend all the viewers to have a look at this, because in examining the biography of Mary and examining the biography of Fatima, you find that there is an unbelievable overlap. I think that there are Christians out there, if they saw the overlap in relation to the angelic and the mystical and the spiritual and the salvation and the intercession of Maryam and of Fatima, they will be in disbelief that there is so much similarity.
Beautiful.
And I think Thurkill does a great job, and the book is available on Amazon, Chosen Among Women. Another author I have great respect for in the way she examines Fatima al-Zahra's biography and sometimes relates it to Eve,
okay,
sometimes to Mary, and that is Karen Ruffle.
Right.
Those of you out there interested in pursuing further studies on Fatima al-Zahra and her biography, Karen Ruffle has written many brilliant articles.
Okay.
There was an article of Karen Ruffle, I remember, May Fatima Gather Our Tears.
Wow.
Which was a really wonderful article about Fatima Zahra's role in affecting the Muslim world in the Middle East, but also in South Asia.
Okay.
How Fatima Zahra plays a major role in the salvation of Shia within literature. So Karen Ruffle, Mary Thurkill, they've written extensively. Also, Father Christopher Clohessy.
Right.
Now, Father Christopher Clohessy has written a book, Fatima, Daughter of Muhammad.
Okay.
And this week in London, at Haidari on Friday and at Stanmore Mosque on Saturday, the father will be speaking extensively about why he as a priest wrote a book on Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam. And at Cambridge University, University of Cambridge on March the 4th, at the Wolf Institute, there's a brilliant program being organized by the Hikmah Foundation.
Okay.
And this program, Father Clohessy, Professor Sajjad Rizvi, Sheikh Muhammad Al-Hilli, Sister Safiya Tharo and Ruhi Hassan, all of them will be presenting on different aspects of Fatima's life. But you would say uniquely a father speaking about Fatima. His love is Mary.
Yeah.
His salvation is Christ.
Yes.
But you find that in his book, Fatima, Daughter of Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa, he wonderfully examines the different aspects of Fatima and her relationship with Maryam.
Okay.
So I personally think that if you go to the academic world, you can find some outstanding articles from Thurkill, from Karen Ruffle, from Christopher Clohessy, that have sought to, in one way or the other, find an overlap or harmonize so that there is interfaith dialogue on this area.
Okay, thank you. Just for the benefit of our viewers, I do urge also non-Muslims and Christians, particularly for this show, to call in. The telephone number is 0203 515 0199. Dr. Sayeda Nakshwani, what is exactly the true meaning of dialogue? And that's also, to elaborate further, what I find, and perhaps in your observance as well and experience, many of these interfaith dialogue events, they seem to be, quite nice, pleasant. There's good conversation and so on and so forth, but perhaps just not meaningful. It's just killing time.
I think in this day and age, coming together and talking is meaningful.
Yeah.
It's vital, not just meaningful. For me and you, we can go out in the streets of London today and not be affected at all with Islamophobic comments. But our sisters who, for example, are wearing the headscarf could easily be the victims of Islamophobic comments unless we're sitting on a table and engaging in dialogue and talking with one another. Now, I agree with you that sometimes interfaith dialogue is more about the tea and biscuits than it is about true development and growth.
Progression, yes.
I do believe there are many who do great work out there which is underrated, which is undervalued. And I do believe that every mosque in the UK has to have an office which focuses on interfaith dialogue with our Christian brethren, with our Jewish brethren, with our Hindu brethren, with our Sikh brethren, with our Buddhist brethren, and even with those who do not have faith, but want to build a society where we can live in harmony. The true meaning of dialogue, if you look at the etymology of the word dialogue, is to see through the lens of the other, seeing through the other.
Wow.
Many of us are not willing to study Mary of Christianity. All we're interested in is Mary of the Quran.
Yes.
So concepts in the biography of Mary, therefore, such as, let's say, Annunciation or intercession or the Rosary or certain festivals such as the Feast of Santa Maria and and for example, you know, other areas of salvation, many of us have not seen what Christians believe on these areas.
True.
And we end up, therefore, being bigoted and prejudiced, thinking that we know everything about Mary.
Absolutely.
Simply because we're not really engaging in dialogue. Dialogue involves scriptural reasoning.
Yes, yes.
Bring the scriptures together. You can't just always say, well, what does it say in the Quran? Have you considered thinking, well, what's it saying in the Bible?
Yeah.
What's the Bible's opinion on this area? So that when I'm living with my Christian brethren, I understand what they believe. So I think that in this day and age, I don't care if interfaith dialogue just involves pleasantries. We need dialogue at a time where there is prejudice, stereotype, and lack of integration, and a lot of discrimination.
Yes.
And it's not just Islamophobia. There are many other phobias that unless we engage in dialogue on the likes of Mary and the likes of Fatimah, we're going to end up hurting each other.
Of course. No, very well said. Thank you for that. Now turning to, just for the moment, the Holy Quran. What do you think God intended when he names a whole chapter of the Holy Quran? And actually, Christians should be aware of this, that there is a chapter in the Holy Quran named after Mary, known as Maryam in Arabic.
Well, I think the first thing is that you're really shattering the patriarchal Arab arrogant men. That, hey, there's a chapter named after Maryam, and there's even prophets of God in the Quran who did not get chapters named after them. There's no chapter called Moses.
Yes.
There's no chapter called Jesus. His mom got a chapter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think you're shattering the stereotype and the bigotry shown towards women in that Arabian period by saying there's a whole chapter to be named after Maryam. I think secondly, it's allowed for dialogue in that nascent Muslim community, that there was interaction, with the Roman Empire. Yes. There's a whole surah in the Quran called the Romans. I think many people recite the surah in the holy month of Ramadan.
That's right.
It's a wonderful aim to try and bring dialogue, that when there's a surah called the Romans, Rum, the aim of that surah is to allow the people to see that the Romans did defeat the Persians. That there is a faith in God that was victorious having been defeated.
Yes.
But also that there is room to engage Kisra of Persia with dialogue. Number three, Abyssinia was led by a Christian priest who virtually saved the religion of Islam.
That's right.
The verses that Ja'far al-Tayyar, brother of Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the verses that Ja'far al-Tayyar quotes from Surah Maryam are verses which bring a wonderful sense of light to the heart of that Christian priest in Abyssinia. But also the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his family, tells his companions in this period, and you know, sanctions at any time are difficult for any country.
True, true.
It's difficult for you as a group of people to have sanctions on you. So when you've got these sanctions on you at the time, who helps the early nascent Muslim community? It's a Christian priest. What's quoted? Maryam, the chapter on her, on the birth of Christ.
Yes, yes.
And so therefore, Surah Maryam is this pivotal surah. It's not the only surah in the Quran where Mary and her birth and the Immaculate Conception and so on is mentioned. However, I think it's a pivotal moment for the growth of Islam and for the relations between Muslims and Christians at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Let's really start to mold, as it were, and set aside, as it were, the first half of this show towards her. But in reality, the Holy Quran, there's also another chapter, which is the third chapter, Ali Imran, and that's also related to her, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, can you?
As in Mary's father.
Yeah.
Imran, you're talking Moses alayhi salam and Imran. There's that children of Israel lineage related to Imran.
Yes.
Allah has chosen, fundamental point over here.
Okay.
Inna Allah astafa Adam, Nuh. Allah chose Adam. Allah chose Noah. Allah chose the family of Abraham. Allah chose the family of Imran. This is vital. Why? It seems God doesn't want elections to take place for his leaders on earth. He picks families which inherit leadership.
Yes.
I always find it interesting that when Prophet Muhammad died, peace be upon his family, everyone forgot his family.
Yeah.
Forgot. They actually started fighting them. Forget fighting them. They actually ended up beheading and killing them. But what's interesting is that in the Quran, God is a monarchist.
Yes.
He chooses families, and these families inherit the light of guidance and prophethood. And so yes, Surah Al-Imran, whether you're referring to, you know, Moses, Mary, Christ, there's this beginning of a discussion of the pivotal role of Maryam with the children of Israel, with Zechariah, with the temples.
Sure.
All beginning from the vow that was made that I'm dedicating what's in my womb.
Wow.
And that vow is an interesting vow. You know, her father Amran and her mother, which in some traditions is known as Hannah or Anne.
Right.
They make a vow about what they want their child to be or to do while the child's in the womb.
I see.
You ask many people, what do you want your kids to be? They'll be like, well, ask them. There's only a few who, while she's pregnant with her son or with her daughter, has already asked God, allow them to be the following.
Yes.
And there are many prophets who believe that upbringing of your children begins even before the womb, where you pray to Allah, give me a child who's of the Salihin.
Yes, yes, yes.
ربي هب لي من الصالحين فبشرناه بغلام حليم. Abraham has his prayer. Mary's mom has a prayer that she's devoting her child to the Lord. Of course, she gets surprised when it's a girl. Because she's thinking, well, is the girl the one who's going to cure the blind and the leper and the sick and raise the dead? And of course, God is the one with the greatest of plans, that this daughter of yours is going to have a son who will do that. But this daughter is also going to be devoted.
Wow.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Thank you. Right. Let's really go into the detail of the life of the Blessed Virgin Mary, also known as Maryam in Arabic. First of all, I want to start off with just asking, there is literature, but it's very scarce, as it were. What can you...
So you're using the Quran.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
and not only the Quran, but the only people who have knowledge of the lives of Jesus and Mary in exactly the way they were are the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Let me make this clear to the viewers.
Right.
Nobody is able to tell you about the lives of Jesus and Mary in Islam except Muhammad and Al Muhammad salawatullah wa salamu alayhima, the Prophet Muhammad and his family. There are huge books on hadith in Islam that have nothing on Jesus' biography. Whereas online you can order a book called Jesus Through Shia Narrations or Jesus and Shia Narrations by Legenhausen. It's available online. Nabi Isa's whole biography. And I will come to the proof of why Ahlul Bayt have that knowledge about all of these. But the fundamental source of our knowledge is the Quran.
Okay. So, Dr. Ammar Nakshwani, I just want to ask, I've always been under the assumption, as it were, that prophets are reserved, as it were, or there's a remit only for prophets to actually converse or speak to angels. Yet we have a verse we have in chapter 19, 3 particular verses, as it were, that talk about the Blessed Virgin Mary speaking. So she's a muhaddatha. And I'm just going to quickly paraphrase because we've got a lot to get through. So she veiled herself, as it were, to screen herself. Then we, the verse is, then we sent to her our spirit, and there appeared to her a well-made man. And then the following verse is, she sought refuge, as it were, from Allah, and guarded herself against evil. Okay.
Yes, because she's thinking, who's this man?
Yeah. And then the third and final verse is, he said, I am only a messenger of your Lord, that I will give you a pure boy. So the point is this. What sort of status or rank did she achieve that she could actually converse and speak to the angels.
A rank which some scholars felt led to her being known as a prophet.
Right.
However, the majority of the scholars do not believe in her as a prophet, but they say that there are instances of great women in Islamic history,
Yes.
who God allowed them to speak to the angels and the angels to speak to them. In the Quran, you could brilliantly paraphrase Surah 19, verse 17 to 19.
Yes, yes.
Jibreel comes to visit Maryam. An angel comes to visit Maryam. It's a huge honor. Of course, she's baffled at the time because she's thinking, what's going on?
Yes.
But what is going on is that he takes the form of a human being. And he has come to bring glad tidings. He comes as a protector. He comes to communicate with her. And anyone who therefore thinks that only angels can only communicate with prophets and that only prophets speak to angels, no. The verse in the Quran that shatters that concept is this
verse. Yes.
And that Maryam had communication with the angels.
Yeah.
Not just communication. Can I add a second point?
Yes.
Maryam used to receive food from the angels.
Yes, yeah, I was going to come to that point.
The angel doesn't just communicate. The angel used to bring food that Zachariah used to see in the mihrab of Maryam.
Yes.
Summer fruits in the winter time, winter fruits in the summer.
Yes. So now if I can just quickly go to that particular verse. Again, it's in Ali Imran, which is the 3rd chapter. And the verse that Dr. Ammar Nakshwani alluded to is 37. And again, I'll just quickly go into the interpretation, as it were, or the translation. So her Lord accepted her with a good acceptance and made her grow up a good growing and gave her into the charge of Zachariah in English. Whenever Zachariah entered the sanctuary to see her, he found her with food. He said, O Maryam, or Mary, whence comes this to you? She said, it is from Allah, it is from God. Surely Allah gives to whom He pleases without measure. So the point here is, again, very similar on the lines of previously, prophets prayed, they were conversing, and they conversed, as it were, with angels and so on and so forth. Now all of a sudden, there's this great noble lady, a virgin, who's also been blessed with food, as it were, sent from the angels.
Yes. As I said, this is a huge moment that anyone who says Islam is a religion where only men receive this guidance from the Lord, this shatters it. You've got an angel who God, because of the iman of this lady, and because of her devotion to God, God allows her to be in the presence of Jibreel alayhi salam.
Subhanallah.
And it's interesting that where the angel used to place the food is where Zachariah went and prayed to have a child, a son. Right. Because Zachariah thought, hold on, that place has food from Jannah, from the heavens. So if I'm going to pray there, the energy, there's a barakah.
Okay.
So therefore, that was a lesson for all of us. Dua can be prayed. Supplication, you can supplicate anywhere. But to supplicate where there has been an energy.
Yes.
There's a huge difference.
It's a sort of a mystical side, as it were. Just moving on now. We have, as it were, the rosary beads.
Yes.
Obviously not this one here, but, a replica. So what sort of traditions do we find about the rosary bead, as it were? And the infallibility, as it were, around it. What can you mention about that?
Well, the rosary bead is fundamental when you're looking at the biography of Mary. And in Christianity, you'll have what are known as the decades.
Decades, yes.
Decade, as we all know, refers to 10.
10.
And so you've got the Hail Marys. And before these decades and towards the end of these decades, you'll have one Lord's Prayer.
Right.
And
Just for the benefit of Muslim viewers, naturally Christian viewers would know this, but what is a Hail Mary, as it were?
Well, there's a call out towards Mary, a recognition of the importance of Mary.
Right.
And recognizing also that there is salvation.
Okay.
From God because of the fact that this is the lady who had had given us Christ. You know, so there is this unbelievable connection between us, the Lord, and Mary.
Okay.
And so, as I said, these decades, of course, there have been different evolutions in the church from 10 to 15.
Right,
how many are called out, when they're called out.
Okay.
However, the rosary bead plays this huge spiritual role.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, you've mentioned, you know, the actual rosary bead. Why is it so crucial when we look at the life of Mary, the word virgin? What so significant, as it were, the status of?
Well, I think the most pivotal moment in Maryam's life, and described amazingly in the Quran. You know, Mary is mentioned in the Quran more than in the Bible. And, you know, the conception and the virgin birth is discussed vividly. Her emotions, her feelings. And it's also a moment where there's a first lesson to be learned, and that is never despair of God's mercy. If He wants to, He breaks all the laws of cause and effect.
Okay.
We are subject to those laws, cause and effect. The Lord, if He wants to,
it is.
Kun fayakun. You obey Allah, He gives you the ability to say kun fayakun. Because there are certain Muslims who say, what's the highest level I can reach spiritually? And I think many don't realize that you can actually reach a level of kun fayakun in its limited form. But that virgin birth and that virgin status of Mary is fundamental in Christianity, of course.
Yes.
And led certain Christian theologies into believing that Mary is that Christ is the Son of God because He had no father. Others tried to bring Joseph into it and so on. So the virgin birth is fundamental within Christianity.
Okay. So now we just have just under 10 minutes. So we're going to sort of quickly go into the following aspects, as it were. What can you mention about infallibility, as it were, of her?
Well,
because she is a divine figure.
It's very interesting because when you look at the Gospel of Luke, you look at the Annunciation, there is this purity to Mary in Christian thought. I would add a caveat in saying that there is also the sense that Mary herself seeks salvation. She seeks to be purified from, you know, being a sinner. And so some might say that that is a sign that she is not infallible. But I think if you're looking even within Shia literature, sometimes the Imams of Ahl al-Bayt, when they're talking to the Lord, they say, forgive us, forgive us, forgive us, forgive us. And that doesn't mean that they've sinned. But these are ways in which their followers are able to talk to their Lord, being taught by the Imams of Ahl al-Bayt. But definitely that purity, that, you know, living a chaste life are the key terms within infallibility, alongside the potential to sin, but the discipline not to. And that can be seen within certain areas of Christian literature.
That nicely leads on to the next point, because you mentioned a key word there, chaste, as it were. So now coming on to the next point, is she shown as being siddiqah, as it were? And what is this term, as it were? What is it in reference to? Specifically
Siddiqah, you know, Maryam has a number of titles which we'll find that Fatima and her share. And Siddiqah is one of them. You know, their tongues are truthful tongues. They devote themselves to their Lord at an extremely young age. They devote themselves to the way of God, to the obedience of God. As a lesson for all of us that religiosity isn't about how many majalis you've attended, how many ziyaras you've gone on, how many hajj you've been to. But really it's about the truthfulness of your tongue. I think the truthfulness of your tongue is one aspect, and another is whether your tongue is the tongue that all it seeks to do is defame and backbite. There are people out there today who are seen as people of religion, but I think the nickname BBC is apt for them. You could call them Reuters even, from the amount of gossip they have about the lives of everybody in the community. I think because they dress like Maulanas, people will always worship the dress and not worship what's behind it. As Bahlul wonderfully put it, when he wanted to go into a dinner organized by Harun al-Rashid at the castle. And he came to the door and they looked at him and they're like, where do you think you're going? He goes, I've come for this dinner for the scholars. They're like, you're not a scholar, go away. So he went and bought an abaya and he bought a rosary bead.
Right.
And he came back and said, oh, Maulana, please welcome. He said, take the rosary, take the abaya. That's what you're more interested in. Maryam is Sadiqa.
Right.
She is Tahira.
Okay.
She's truthful and pure.
Yes.
No uttering of lies. No defaming of others. No destroying others' lives. And I think that is the ultimate sign of taqwa.
Okay, we've just got just under 5 minutes, so probably the last points here. Her being an intercessor, as it were, and shafa'at, you know, is she basically, can we have shafi'at, as it were, or?
Yes, intercession. In Christian thought, you'll find...
Specifically the Catholic...
Yeah, in Roman Catholic dogma, it's there. You've got the Feast of Santa Maria. There is a belief that Mary acts as an intercessor. She's the mother of the person who brings salvation.
Okay. Yes,
you can ask God directly, but why not mention Mary?
Right. Okay. Viewers, do call in. We're going to be going for a short break in just a moment or two. The telephone number is 0203 515 0199. Hopefully, inshallah, you are enjoying this show. See you again in the next moment or two. Assalamu alaikum.
Keep the barakah coming every Monday and Friday morning.
Morning barakah at 9 AM GMT time only on Imam Hussein TV.
Imam Hussein Media Group is a virtual university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt's peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussein TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence, politics, philosophy, and many more, and aim to bring the public's attention to the righteous Islamic sect, Shia Islam. Our ultimate goal as a media group is to convey the interpretations of the Holy Quran, as well as the traditions and knowledge of the Holy Prophet and his progeny. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. Our objectives are to protect and safeguard the Shia youth from the destructive impact of immoral ideologies, standing up against injustice by documenting the oppression of Shia across the globe, as well as encouraging peace and unity amongst the Muslims. To reach our aims and serve the Muslim Ummah, we require a budget that would cover all the expenses for our productions, allowing us to work on different projects. Imam Hussein Media Group is a crowd-funded project. We have no sales nor do we charge for our services. we solely rely on monthly payments, financial contributions, donations, religious alms, and generous gifts. The expenses of each production varies depending on the type of project and the style of filming. There are many elements to a production that requires time and capital. The producer must analyze the costs of the venue hire, equipment, transport, feature fees, set design, staff support, and further additional costs. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, narrated, "The best of people is he from whom people benefit." It is up to you to help the Muslim Ummah come together and help guide the youth in remaining on the correct path of Islam. To take part in this global conquest and to spread the message of Imam Hussein, peace and blessings be upon him, please visit www.imamhussein3.tv or give us a call on +44 0203 515 0199. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, or even email us on donate@imamhussein.tv. Let's work together hand in hand to elevate the faith of our Shia youth today.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to tonight's live show. Two inspirational women where we're looking at the lives of the Virgin Mary and also Fatimah Zahra, assalamu alaikum, peace be upon both of them. Sayedna, assalamu alaikum and welcome back.
Wa alaikum assalam.
A lot to get through. Just very quickly, right at the end of the sort of life, as it were, the aspects that we can possibly get. And also what I'm curious to find out is how old was she? You know, the Virgin Mary, when she gave birth to the divine birth, as it were, of the Prophet.
Nobody knows exactly how old Maryam alayhi salam was when she gave birth to Christ.
Right.
What's clear is that she's in her early teens.
Okay, okay.
If you ask any Catholic priest out there today, I think they're not going to tell you that she's older than her early teens. Some might even go lower and say 12, 13, 14. That's very interesting that God decides that his son will be born to a 13-year-old.
Okay.
And for years, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his family, was always attacked with the title pedophile. Because he married somebody supposedly aged 9, 10, 11, whatever. Yes. Mary gives birth to Christ at that young age. So there's question marks about the exact age. No one can ever tell you, but they certainly believe it's in the early teens.
Okay, yep. Okay. I believe we might have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum. No, the caller has hung up. Now, just very lastly, as it were, salvation through her, as it were, and also I'm being quite quick here now. That how is God's religion saved, or as it were, how is salvation sought through her and that sort of divine aspect? What can we say about that?
She is seen as the mother of the man who brings salvation to mankind. Mankind are born sinners because of Adam's sin in Christian thought. There is a redemption, there's a repentance, all of it combined that brings that salvation to mankind through the crucifixion of Christ. So you've got another aspect of Mary, that her son is the one who saves God's path of guidance,
right,
through his death. And I think when you're looking at the similarities as we begin now with Fatimah, you'll find that everything we've said about Mary, we're going to see happened with Fatimah as well.
Yes. So that puts us into the second half of this show. Now looking at the life of Fatimah Zahra, assalamu alaikum. We've looked at the first half, And let's go right into the parallels, as it
Yeah,
were.
one by one
Yeah.
we'll go through the parallels.
So we've mentioned that the Blessed Virgin Mary, she spoke, as it were, to angels. Did Fatima Zahra speak to angels?
If Mary in the Quran conversed with the angel, then why have a doubt that Fatima, daughter of Muhammad, peace be upon his family, can converse with the angels?
Right.
And that's why if Mary is known as muhaddatha, sometimes in our communities you may have your daughter or niece or wife or mother called muhaddasa or muhaddatha. Muhaddatha is that female
Narration.
Muhadditha is the female narrator.
Right.
Muhaddatha with the fatha. Muhaddatha is that female who converses with the angels. Muhaddath.
Right.
In Shi'i and Sunni literature, you have a concept of the muhaddath.
Yes.
We believe the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. Likewise, even in Sunni literature, there is evidence where they say that people like the second caliph and people like Ammar bin Abdul Aziz were of the ones who should deserve the title of muhaddath. Now, Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, of the clearest proofs that we have within Shia literature is what is known as Mushaf Fatima. Now, Mushaf Fatima,
Okay.
people assume when they hear the word Mushaf.
We'll come to that in just 1 minute. Apologies. So
Yeah.
now we have a caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. No.
Mushaf Fatima,
Right.
when we're talking about Mushaf,
Yes.
the Mushaf of Fatima, some people started to make an accusation against the Shia by saying that this Mushaf of Fatima is the Shia Quran. It's not the Shia Quran. It doesn't have anything of the Quran.
Okay.
The Mushaf of Fatima is Jibreel alayhi salam consoling Fatima. Don't say Jibreel can't talk to Fatima because Jibreel communicated with Maryam in the Quran.
Yes.
Jibreel consoles Fatima. I remember the same Jibreel a few years earlier had seen the incident of the cloak, Hadith al-Kisa.
Yes.
He is someone who is privy to Muhammad and Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein. This same Jibreel visits Fatima, consoles Fatima, who is grieving the death of her father, peace be upon him and his family. He consoles her by telling her, A, where is her father in paradise now? The world of Barzakh. B, tales of the past prophets of Allah. What did I say earlier? Nobody can tell you about the past prophets of Allah like Muhammad and Muhammad, because they had amongst them, with them, Mushaf Fatima.
Subhanallah.
Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, and this is pure imamology. Forget debating Ghadir in the Quran, out of the Quran, hadiths. Come to what the Imams are saying. Imam al-Sadiq says, with us is the Mushaf of Fatima. With us is the armor of the prophets. The sword, Dhul Fiqar.
Subhanallah. Yes.
With us is the knowledge of the past prophets.
Yes.
Therefore, when there are people out there discussing Imamah, trying to prove, is the Imam, look what Imam al-Sadiq is saying. Imam al-Sadiq is saying that amongst the pieces of knowledge that we inherit as Imams, that when you ask us about Jesus and Moses and Adam and Noah, and you think, how do we know about them? When we lived 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years after them, we had amongst us Mushaf Fatima.
Okay.
We had Kitab Ali.
Right.
We had the Jafar, the red, the white. We had the armors. We had all of that knowledge inherited. So, Mushaf Fatima is Jibreel communicating about past events, future events.
Wow.
What will happen to the Ummah.
Okay.
Dictated and written by Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. He dictates Jibreel. Fatima al-Zahra is the listener. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is the writer.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
And that is a great source of ilm for the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. Because how do the Imams of Ahlul Bayt have their ilm? Either the Prophet, peace be upon him, says, I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate.
Yes.
Or ilham, inspiration.
Inspiration.
The way Allah inspired the mother of Musa, put your baby in the basket, let him roll down the Nile. Likewise, we have Mushaf Fatima. Likewise, we have Kitab Ali, and so on.
Okay.
And the concept of kasb and acquiring of knowledge.
Right.
Amir Mu'azzi has a wonderful book called The Divine Guide in Early Shi'ism.
Yes, yes.
Looking at the esoteric rather than only the exoteric, looking at the inner spiritual dimensions that made the Ahl al-Bayt differ, that put the Ahl al-Bayt different from the Arab riffraff that surrounded them.
Yes, yes.
The Ahl al-Bayt are mystical personalities whose roots are the pre-eternal realm of pledges.
Yes, yes.
Don't look at the Imams of Ahl al-Bayt as just Arab personalities who lived in Medina and Mecca with the rest of the Arabs. The Imams of Ahl al-Bayt are the carriers, if not they are the divine lights. The manifestation of Allah's light in its minimum forms can be seen in Muhammad and Al Muhammad.
True.
Salawatullah wa salamu alayhima. So what you have, did Jibreel speak to Fatima? Jibreel is honored to speak to Fatima. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Fatima Zahra is not the one who's honored that Jibreel. On the contrary, Jibreel is honored to be around Ashab al-Kisa.
Yes.
Is honored to be around the Holy Five. When have you ever seen Jibreel saying that I am honored to be around pagan X or pagan Y? Munafiq X or Munafiq Y? No. I want to be around Muhammad and Ali, Fatima and Hassan and Hussein.
Subhanallah.
Ashab al-Kisa, Ashab al-Mubahala. The ones who are the ark of Nuh for mankind. With them lies salvation.
Yes, yes. We'll come to the point about also the offering of condolences. But just before then, say now we have 2 or 3 questions via WhatsApp. I have a question. Why is Mary called Virgin Mary? Is it in the name or does it have a different meaning? And also, how was the relationship between Lady Fatimah Zahra alayhi salam and Hasnain alayhi salam? Well,
the Virgin Mary is, the belief in Maryam al-Adhra, for example, al-Adhra, the Virgin Mary, the one who is giving birth without having been married.
Right.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can create a spirit, say kun fayakun, in the way He created Adam. خَلَقَهُ مِن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ قَالَ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُن. So that is the meaning. In terms of Fatima Zahra and Hassan Hussein, we'll come to in a second.
Yeah,
we look at Fatima Zahra's age of giving birth.
Okay, this is an interesting question. I have a question for Dr. Ammar regarding Hazrat Maryam, peace be upon her. Chapter 19, verse 28 refers to her as sister of Aaron. Is the Aaron mentioned here Prophet Harun? Why is Maryam referred to as sister? Thank you.
Some say literally sister, some say because she is from that particular lineage and tribe. So there's a difference of opinion.
Okay, and very quickly, Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina Muhammad. Is it true that Imam Mahdi's mother is a Roman princess? Thank you.
There is an opinion that Imam al-Mahdi, Ajalallah Fajr Sharif, his mother Narjis is from the line of one of the disciples of Christ.
Okay.
Others say no, it's just one of the ladies from the African slaves of the time.
Right, okay. Dr. Sayeda Ammar, I was just going to ask you about the offerings, as it were, of condolences. And this is quite key as well, isn't it? Because, if we look at the parallels of, Mary and Fatima Zahra, what exactly happened and the Prophet's position in paradise? What exactly can we say about the nobility of her now?
Yeah, the biggest loss this religion ever saw was the loss of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his family. He was the mercy to mankind.
Yes.
And who do you console first but the family? And who consoles? The angels weep when a believer dies. How about the Amir of believers? How about the prince of believers? How about the very meaning of believer? So when they send their condolences, to the very family who they believe all of this exists because of.
Yes.
ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا. All these lines that we read. Without Al Muhammad, there is no سبب متصل بين الأرض والسماء. There is no connection between the heavens and the earth. Al Muhammad are not ex-pagans who used to bowed down before idols and then became Muslim. Islam occurs because knowing that there are people like Al Muhammad who will guide mankind. Yes.
Right. Okay. Another question. Aliza Arif, what is the similarities and differences of hijab in Sayeda Maryam and Sayeda Fatimah is the question.
Interesting question, because I think every single place you go in the world, there is a Maryam in a hijab and a Fatimah in a hijab. In the sense that every church you go to, there's always have you ever seen Mary's hair in a church?
No. No one
I asked the viewers, have you ever been to a church where you've seen Maryam's hair? What's always the look? Like there's a veil.
Veil.
And I think that gives us an indication that the veil plays another beautiful parallel.
Beautiful.
Which is the veil of Fatima and the veil of Maryam.
Okay. Yep. And after Imam comes, what will hijab be after Imam comes for men and women? Is a question.
I think nothing changes.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, so now we've spoken again in the first half. We looked at food being received for the Blessed Virgin Mary.
Yes.
Now, again, let's look at the status of Fatima Zahra. What has happened here now?
If Jibreel can talk to Mary, he talks to Fatima.
Yeah.
If Jibreel can bring food to Mary, why can he not bring food to Fatima? And we have a narration in Shia literature.
Okay.
That the Prophet, peace be upon him, family, one day is eating prayer. Imam Ali alayhi salam is behind him. The Prophet finishes the prayer and says, I want to come home for dinner.
Okay.
Now, that moment when your father-in-law says, I want to come home, and you're just like, I don't know if we have anything. How am I going to tell the missus? And so on. So when Imam Ali alayhi salam returns and he tells Fatima Zahra, your dad's come home for dinner, Fatima Zahra is worried because there isn't nothing there. She then goes in and she begins to recite verse 114 of Surah 5. And by the way, if any of you guys don't have dinner and you've got guests coming, maybe you should do this and see if it works.
Okay.
So Surah 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 114. She remembers that these disciples of Jesus said to him, can God send us food from heaven?
Yes, yes. I mean, I can read it here. When the disciples said, "O Isa, son of Maryam, will your Lord consent to send down to us food from heaven?"
Food from heaven.
There's a question. He said, "Be careful of your duty to Allah if you are believers."
Yes. If you really believe in me, a person who questions a prophet of God, no, straight away this person is a munafiq.
Okay, okay.
Some, let's give benefit of the doubt, may be in a moment where they're trying to see from ilm al-yaqeen to ayn al-yaqeen. They want to see yaqeen with their own eyes. Most of the time, those who question the Prophet's knowledge are munafiqeen, hypocrites. And if anyone you see get rude to a Prophet, that's a munafiq. And anyone who raises their voice against the Prophet is a munafiq. Put these criteria. These are all hypocrites. Now, Maryam received food from the heavens. Fatima prays to Allah. The lines of Nabi Isa in Surah 5 verse 114.
Okay.
اللهم ربنا انزل علينا مائدة من السماء تكون لنا عيدا لأولنا وآخرنا وآية منك وارزقنا وأنت خير الرازقين. Oh Allah, send us food from heaven. I am Fatima, daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alih. The same way that Jesus spoke to you and you sent him food, send us, and that Jibreel came with food for Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam.
Subhanallah.
So therefore, Maryam spoke to Jibreel, Fatima does. Maryam received food from Jibreel, so does Fatima alayhi salam.
Okay.
What's next? Let's keep going on the parallels.
Yeah, so now we've spoken about the Hail Marys and the Rosebead. Again, now let's look at the same...
Is there anything more famous in Islam than the tasbih of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam? Many Muslims in the world, you will find that they will do the tasbih of Fatima. And there are many Muslims in the world who don't know that this is the tasbih of Fatima. You will see them doing Subhanallah after Salah 33 times, Alhamdulillah 33 times, Allahu Akbar 34 times. By the way, I remember one of the, I'm doing this and I remember one of the ulama, he used to say, he used to never do tasbih in front of every, you know, sometimes you have people who will sit like this and do tasbih. And there are some who don't just sit like this, they'll start playing. I don't know what's going on with this one. Have you seen the ones who start like this?
I have, yes.
Yeah, so you're thinking, hold on a minute. I know that tasbih is when you're just like, subhanAllah. But when you start flicking like this, I don't know what's going on. In some cases, this is holy material. But then you've got this. I remember one alim, he would never do tasbih. But you know what he would do with the tasbih? He would do tasbih, but put it under his abaya.
Okay.
So that there's no showing off in ibadah. Now, Father Zahra, Imam Ali, they asked the father-in-law for another help in the house, and he tells them, I'll give you something better than the help.
Right.
33 times, subhanAllah. 33 times, alhamdulillah. 34
times.
And Fatima Zahra, not only that is her tasbih as a gift from her father, she used to make sabha.
Right.
She used to make the rosary beads. Maryam had the rosary bead, which people do Hail Marys and decades. Fatima has the rosary beads. And the rosary bead of Fatima, she used to collect what? Dust from the grave of Hamza.
Hamza, yes, yes.
And today you have people, when you go to that country and you go near the grave of Hamza, they say, this is bid'ah, don't come near Hamza, why are you? Fatima Zahra used to collect it, and she used to make the tasbih.
Okay, okay.
So that's another, and that's why I recommend everybody, humbly I say this, after Salah, you'll find that some of us Shia, we will straight away, for example, after Salah, we will say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I remember someone absurdly thought that we say Khan al-Amin, Khan al-Amin, Khan al-Amin, meaning that Jibreel should have gone to Ali, but he went to Muhammad. It's absolute stupidity, but you know, this envy and jealousy.
Yeah, of course.
Now, what we say is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Then you have some people stand up straight away. Some people maybe go into dua, Allahumma, for example, Allahumma inni as'aluka mujibati rahmatik.
Yeah.
Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, if you finish Salah, and you straight away do the tasbih of Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. 33 subhanAllah, 33 alhamdulillah, 34 Allahu Akbar. The fire of hell will never touch you. Imagine the barakah in the rosary bead of Fatima. Yeah.
And the intercession, we'll come to that a little bit later on as well. So again, the Virgin Mary gave birth at quite a young age to her divine son, as it were, the Prophet Isa, Jesus. So what happened, again, now let's look at the...
Mary gives birth.
Let's look at the
at the age
side.
of, as we said, Catholic priests say, Mary gave birth in her early teens. And she died in her mid-40s. According to some, there's different opinions. In Christian belief. In Islam, Fatima gave birth to Imam al-Hassan when she was 10, 11 years of age. Okay. Again, a similarity.
Yes.
Both become mothers at a young age.
Okay, okay. Question, Sidna. Did Maryam marry after giving birth to Hazrat Isa al-Islam?
No.
Okay.
In Islamic belief, no.
Fine. Okay. So you've mentioned about the Divine Lady Fatimah Zahra salam giving birth, as it were, at a young age. And she gave birth, you know, to children, obviously Hasnain alayhi salam, Zainab, Kulthum, salam alayhi salam, peace be upon all of them. What's the status now of infallibility? We've looked at the infallibility of Mary. Now let's look at the infallibility criteria and the status of Fatima Zahra.
In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to choosing and purifying and choosing Maryam above all the women. Istafaki, taharaki, istafaki, taharaki, purifying you.
Okay.
Allah, when He wants to, can purify a group of people to keep away sin from them. Which ayah do we have where Allah says, I keep away all impurities?
33.
33.
Yes, yes.
ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم
تطهيرا.
So, Fatima Zahra, according to Fatima Zahra, even proof of her infallibility. Fatima is a part of me. Whoever angers her, angers me. Whoever angers me, angers Allah. The pleasure of Fatima is the pleasure of Allah.
Yes.
The anger of Fatima is the anger of Allah. Again, that is purity.
Yes, yes.
So in the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned tathir with Maryam, He mentioned with Fatima Zahra alayhi salam.
Okay, so again, in the first part, say now we've mentioned about the truthfulness or the siddiqah, the realm of reaching, you know, being truthful. Again, now let's turn to Fatima Zahra salam alayhi salam. What is her status?
Maryam is siddiqah.
Okay.
Fatima is siddiqah. Maryam is tahira. Fatima is Tahira.
Tahira.
Fatima al-Zahra, throughout her life, never uttered a lie, never backbit, never gossiped, never was someone who bought and defamed people's reputations. Everything she said, if her father is Sadiq, then what will be produced except Siddiq?
Of course, alhamdulillah. Okay, I want to spend a bit of time on intercession now, and we've spoken about intercession through her, specifically, you know, the Catholic school of thought in Christianity. What about Fatima Zahra salam as an intercessor or intercession?
We, as Muslims, majority of us believe that on the Day of Judgment, there are certain personalities Allah has given the honor that they can intercede on our behalf. Ayatul Kursi says, "Man dha alladhi yashfa'u 'indahu illa bi'idhnihi." Who can intercede on behalf of Allah except with the permission of Allah? The martyr, the shaheed, the truthful, the Siddiq, the memorizer of the Quran, the Hafiz. These are people who, with the sincerity, are those who are able to intercede.
Intercede.
Who knows the Quran but the lady in whose house the Quran was revealed?
Yes.
Who's more
no doubt.
truthful than Fatima al-Zahra? Who died as a martyr except Fatima?
Yes.
So therefore, we believe that on the Day of Judgment, like in Christianity, they believe Mary is a source of intercessory salvation. Likewise, we believe Fatima al-Zahra will be there, especially for her lovers and the lovers of her sons.
Okay, okay. So we ended the first half, and we actually just continued the first half of the show about talking about the divine birth, as it were, and her having, you know, a son. Now let's talk about Fatima Zahra salam and the birth and the son. What can you talk about this? What's the parallel here?
Mary has a son known as Christ.
Yeah.
Who in Christian belief is the one who saved humanity. In Islam, Fatima has a son called Hussein, who Muslims, Shia, Sunni, Sufi, wherever you go, you'll find all of these different names of Muslim groups. All of them mention that Hussein is the savior of the religion of Islam. Had Hussein alayhi salam not risen against the corrupt rule of Yazid, son of Muawiyah, in the Damascus palaces, the ones who were destroying the sunnah of the teachings of his grandfather, the Prophet, peace be upon his family, then we would have all said, As-salam ala al-Islam. Peace be upon the religion of Islam.
Okay.
But one man saved this religion. Likewise, you see that parallel with Jesus in Christian thought.
Okay, okay. We have questions here now. Two questions here now. One question from Salma. What role did Fatima Zahra salam play in spreading Islam? And also, how can we get her intercession on the Day of Judgment?
In terms of what role did Fatima Zahra play in spreading of Islam? Firstly, the spiritual legacy of Fatima. You know, it can be found in terms of the tasbih that we have until today.
Yes.
Secondly, the representation politically of Fatima Zahra when she went with her father and her husband and her sons on the event of Mubahala. Thirdly, the sermon of Fatima Zahra is a sermon full of profound theology.
Okay.
That if you dissect that sermon, line by line, the sermon of Fadak of Fatima Zahra, believe you me, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen himself is the gate to the city of knowledge. But Fatima Zahra, if you look at the first 20 lines, the way she talks about God, you can write a book on monotheism just on her description of God.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Why is Bibi Maryam's name different in the Bible as Mary?
There's a difference in language.
Yeah, and also the Prophet's name is different in the Bible and the Quran, such as Joseph or David, except Prophet Adam we have common.
You have these different
semantics.
languages. Aramaic, Hebrew, Arabic, different pronunciations.
Right. Okay. So we're going into the last 10 minutes of the show, and we've got still quite a bit to get through to. Is there an account, as it were, say now, of where Fatima Zahra salam and, you know, Mary met, as it were. What can we say about this? Is there some sort of mystical, spiritual connotation about all this?
Firstly, they meet literally in the world of hadith.
Okay.
Literally. The four greatest women
Yeah.
are who?
Yeah.
Asiya, Khadija, Maryam, Fatima. So they literally meet there. Mystically, when Khadija gave birth, in Shia literature we believe, Maryam was one of the midwives who helped Khadija when she was giving birth to Fatima. Why?
Right.
Because the Quraysh boycotted Khadija.
Okay.
The Quraysh were putting sanctions on the Prophet.
Yes.
She was his backbone. Religion would have spread were it not for the wealth of Khadija and the sword of Ali.
Yes.
And so, what you had was that when Khadija was giving birth, Maryam was one of the midwives.
Okay.
Look at that beauty.
Right.
Mystical coming together.
Okay. If we talk about, there's a particular verse in the Holy Quran, Surah Al Imran, verse 42, and I'll just read the translation out. And when the angels said, "O Maryam, surely Allah has chosen you and purified you and chosen you above the women of the world." So that aside, what can we say about Fatima Zahra?
Maryam was the greatest woman according to the Quran of her time. When Fatima was born, Fatima was seen as the greatest woman in the history of the religion of Islam.
Right.
So if someone comes and tells you that you believe that Fatima Zahra is the greatest lady, but the Quran says, "Inna Allah astafaki wa taharaki wa astafaki ala nisa'il alamin," we say that no. On the contrary, Maryam was the greatest lady of her time. When Fatima was born, Fatima was the greatest.
Right. Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Number of reasons why. Fatima has a pre-eternal presence.
Okay, yes. I was going to sort of come to that.
Fatima is not some Arab girl. There's others who are Arab girls. Some are playing on swings. Some are running around with other kids. Some are worshipping idols. Fatima is not an Arab girl. In the pre-eternal realm, Adam is asking God for forgiveness using her name.
Subhanallah.
And the name of her husband and her father and her sons. Allahumma bihaqqi Muhammad wa anta al-mahmud wa bihaqqi Ali wa anta al-a'la wa bihaqqi Fatima wa anta fatir as-samawat wal-ard. So you find that in the pre-eternal realm, I ask anyone, Adam used Maryam or Fatima?
Yes. Ultimately,
Fatima combines nubuwah and imama. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. The khair and the barakah is through Fatima.
Subhanallah.
With all my love for Maryam alayhi salam. And I am under the feet of Maryam.
Yeah. Wow.
Fatima's son, Hussein, saved Islam. Fatima's great-grandson, Al-Mahdi, is the one who brings justice onto the earth. Our Sunni brethren believe that Imam al-Mahdi is not born, but will come.
Yeah, sure.
Shia believe that he's born, but he's an occultation. Like we believe Jesus was an occultation, Khidr is an occultation, others and so on. But there's no doubt that Mahdi is from the sons of Fatima. Some say Mahdi is from the sons of Hassan, others say Mahdi is from the line of Hussein. I don't care. Ultimately it goes back to Fatima.
Of course, no doubt. No doubt about that.
Some have even said that in Hadith al-Kisa, when we say Hum Fatima, they are Fatima and her father and her husband and her sons and the secret bestowed within Fatima. There are a number of opinions as to what is the sir.
Okay, yeah, it's...
One of the opinions that they give is that the man who brings justice on the earth, Mahdi, alongside Mary's son, Christ. Again, parallel. Mary's son, Fatima's grandson at the end.
Okay.
They're the ones who bring justice. Jesus, because Muslims don't believe that he's crucified,
No,
in the general opinion. And Fatima's grandson, the Mahdi.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So now we have just 5 minutes left. Viewers, if you do want to put in your final questions, then please do. The telephone number is 0203 515 0199. You can also WhatsApp your questions. Just in terms of a summation, as it were,
Yes.
we've looked at both lives, as it were, and the biographies, and you've spoken about the necessity, as it were, of the need for dialogue, interfaith discussion, but with a view to obviously progress, as it were. just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, what would you say, as it were, you know, to really put the message out there to Muslims, Christians, as it were?
There are two fundamental verses I believe in the Quran have to be applied today.
Okay.
Surah 5 verse 82 لَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا نَصَارَى ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ مِنْهُمْ قَسِيسِينَ وَرُهْبَانًا وَأَنَّهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. You'll find the closest brethren to you are the Christians.
Christians, yeah.
In reciprocal love with you. Mawadda. Not just hub. Mawadda. Because their priests and their monks are humble human beings who, when they hear the words of Islam, their eyes overflow with tears.
Subhanallah.
And then قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ, Surah 3 verse 64.
Okay.
O people of the book, تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم ألا نعبد إلا الله ولا نشرك به شيئا ولا يتخذ بعضنا بعضا أربابا من دون الله. O people of the book, come to a joint word. And I wish more Muslims and Christians came to this joint word. There are Christians out there who are saying Islam is the most evil thing on the earth. There are Muslims out there who call the people who are Christians, Nasranis, and the Shia, Rawafid, and let's behead them like ISIS did. Whereas the Quran said, Ya Ahl al-Kitab, come. Let's talk. Let's see what we have in common. If we can build on that type of worldview. Love, a reciprocity of dialogue.
True. Yes.
And a coming together, I think you're going to see better times ahead for our kids, if not us.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. We have a question. So now, is there any relationship between Fatima, peace be upon her, and the Christian Our Lady of Fatima? I don't really...
You see, the thing is, the visions that we're seeing there talk of a lady whose son will bring justice, a lady of the rosary bead. Christians will interpret that as Mary.
Okay.
And I don't think many know that that could equally be Fatima.
Right.
And then the rest is with God.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now I think we've just run out of time. I'm just going to check if there are any more questions left, but I think we have gone through them all.
Thank you.
So we have one more question. Surah Al-Insan.
Al-Insan. Yes,
sorry.
Yeah,
my mistake. Al-Insan, also known as Surah Dahr, as it were.
Yeah.
There's a particular verse in there that talks about feeding.
Feeding, correct.
Without reward and without thanks. What do you have to say about that?
That just shows the one...
And who is it referring to?
The beauty of the altruism and the generosity of Muhammad and Al Muhammad. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا Hassan and Hussein were ill. And the Prophet told Fatima and Ali, make a nithar, a mannat, you know?
Yes.
That if they get better, you're going to fast for 3 days. Every time they're breaking their fast, someone knocks at the door and wants some food. And they altruistically give it. And they give it for the sake of Allah. You don't need to thank us. Don't need to reward us. And that really highlighted that that family truly remained the family, not only of God's guidance on earth, but the family of generosity, purity, and truth.
Okay, viewers, I think we've run out of time, and I think you'll agree, Dr. Sayeda Nakshwani has done an absolutely superb job today in terms of breaking down the biographies and revealing the personalities, as it were, of the Virgin Mary and also Fatima Zahra, salam. And if I can just add also, you know, when Hadith-e-Qissa also mentions the status and the pivot, as it were, of Fatima Zahra, salam, everything pointing to and from her, her father, her son, and so on and so forth. So with that, we'd like to leave that, and we're going to end the show now. So see you again next week, inshallah, from Dr. Sayeda Nakshwani and myself, Muhammad Ali. Assalamu alaikum.
Keep the barakah coming every Monday and Friday morning.
Morning Barakah at 9 a.m. GMT time only on Imam Hussein TV.
یک روز تماسی گرفتن از بروجرد، خانومی گفت که آقا میخوام کل طلاهامو اهدا کنم به سید الشهدا. گفتم خانم من بروجرد کسی نمیشناسم، تهران، اصفهان، مشهد، قم، اگر کسی دارین کسی بفرستم طلاهاتونه بگیره. گفت نه آقا خواهش میکنم یکی رو برای من بفرستین به این آدرس، بیان طلاها رو بگیرن ببرن کربلا خدمتون تقدیم کنن. همینجور که من هاج و واج مونده بودم که کیه بفرستیم بروجرد کجای ایرانه. یکی از دوستان اومده بود این استودیو رو کاب کشی میکرد. گفت آقا سید کاری داری بروجرد؟ گفتم یه خانومیه میخواد طلاهاش اهدا کنه به سید الشهدا. گفت من کارم اینجا تموم بشه ماشینم مهرانه، ماشینم رو برمیدارم میرم پدر مادرم بروجردن، هم پدر مادرم رو میبینم هم طلای این نوکر سید الشهدا رو میگیرم میفرستم بیاد کربلا. تا زنگ زدم به خانومه گفتم، گفت ظاهر امام حسین قدمش رو چشای ما جا داره. 2 روز بعد این شیر پاک خورده کارش تموم شد، آقای گودرزی اینجا و بلند شد رفت بروجرد. رسید بروجرد زنگم زد، تماس که گرفت دیدم داره گریه میکنه اما گریه طبیعی نیست، به حق افتاده بود. گفتم که آقای گودرزی مشکلی پیش اومده، تصادف کردی؟ در اومد گفت که نه. گفتم پس چته؟ چرا گریه میکنی؟ گفت سید من زادگاه هم بروجرده، اومدم یه محله فقیرنشین بروجرد اینا نشستن، از همسایه ها پرسیدم که منزل آقای موسوی کجاست؟ گفتن که این خونشون، یه زن و مرد و دخترن مستاجرن تو این خونه. دیگه در زدم، زنه در آواز کرد. گفتم خانم از کربلا اومدم طلاهاتونه بگیرم. گفت بفرمایید تو اتاق پذیرایی آقامون تو هن. دیگه من وارد اتاق شدم، یا الله یا الله گفتم، دیدم یه تخت بیمارستانه، یه مرد بستریه رو تخت. میگه همینجور دیدم اشک از بغل چشم مرده میمد و اشکاش پاک میکرد. گفتم آقا چرا گریه میکنی؟ گفت من شرمنده امام حسینم، زنم برای یه ذره طلاها شما رو از کربلا تا اینجا کشیده. میگه نشستم بغلش گفتم انشالله امام حسین عنایتی میکنه. در اومد گفت که 3 ماه قبل من با کامیون تصادف کردم، کمرم مشکل پیدا کرده، دیگه پاهام قدرت و توانایی تکون خوردن نداره. خانومم پرستارمه تو خونه، به خاطر اینکه منو تنها ول نکنه تو خونه شما رو برای یه ذره طلاهاش از کربلا تا اینجا کشیده، من شرمنده ابا عبدالله کرد. یا حسین میگه نشسته بودیم دیدم خانوم اومد یه استکان چای آورد گذاشت جلو هم، یه پلاستیک فریزری زیر چادرش واز کرد، 9 تا علنگوهاشو تک به تک از دستش در آورد انداخت تو کیسه، گردنبند از دور گردنش واز کرد انداخت تو کیسه، گوشوارها رو از گوشش در آورد انداخت تو کیسه. میگه دیدم دختر بچه رو صدا زد، یه دختر بچه 3 ساله. دختر بچه اومد دیدم یه دستبند کوچیک طلا دور دست دختره است، دستبنده رو از دست دخترم باز کردن انداختن تو کیسه. میگه بلند شد کیسه رو بهم بده، دیدم اشکاش همینجور رو چادرش داره میچکه. میگه کیسه رو که داد گفت من شرمنده حضرت زهرام، بگین به خاطر 2 دست آقا ابوالفضل این یه ذره طلا رو از ما قبول کنه، اسم ما رو تو این کربلای امام حسین ثبت و ضبط بکنه. خدا میدونه این آقایی که طلا رو آورد گفت سید من شرمنده امام حسین شدم، این زنه اگر شوهرش طوریش بشه خودش به یه دونه گوشواره ها محتاج میشه. مردم امام حسینی ها خودشون خوب میشناسن، کسی که با امام حسین قراردادی بسته تا آخر عمر دستش از سر سفره سید الشهدا دور و کوتاه نمیشه. خوشا به سعادت امام حسینی ها، اونایی که میتونن هر کی به هر نحوی، یعنی یکی میتونه با طلای خودش، بنده خدا میدونه تو همین کربلا سرویس جواهر گرفتم، یه سری هم یه خانوم اومد حلقه عروسیش در آورد، گفت خود سید الشهدا شاهده، تنها طلای زندگیم حلقه عروسیمه، هیچی دیگه طلا ندارم، دوست دارم اندازه یه سر سوزن تو این تربت سید الشهدا اسم داشته.
breaking English girls. You're here defending the paedophiles. I'm here defending your dad. Women are here defending the paedophiles. You're here defending.
We don't need a TV channel because we've got mosques.
We have Islamic centres that are always open.
We have schools teaching Islam.
Hijab is part of a school uniform.
Islam has come and it's established here in the West.
And everyone's happy.
They love us, our food,
our fashion,
our culture.
The media is always on our side.
We've got plenty of English speakers, plenty of English books,
and plenty of places to go and learn in the English language.
Let's be real.
Let's get active. Be more involved.
www.imamhusseinfree.tv.
Imam Hussein Media Group is a virtual university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt's peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussein TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence, politics, philosophy and many more, and aim to bring the public's attention to the righteous Islamic sect, Shia Islam. Our ultimate goal as a media group is to convey the interpretations of the Holy Quran as well as the traditions and knowledge of the Holy Prophet and his progeny, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. Our objectives are to protect and safeguard the Shia youth from the destructive impact of immoral ideologies, standing up against injustice by documenting the oppression of Shia across the globe, as well as encouraging peace and unity amongst the Muslims. To reach our aims and serve the Muslim Ummah, we require a budget that would cover all the expenses for our productions, allowing us to work on different projects. Imam Hussein Media Group is a crowd-funded project. We have no sales nor do we charge for our services. We solely rely on monthly payments, financial contributions, donations, religious alms and generous gifts. The expenses of each production varies depending on the type of project and the style of filming. There are many elements to a production that requires time and capital. The producer must analyze the costs of the venue hire, equipment, transport, feature fees, set design, staff support and further additional costs. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, narrated, "The best of people is he from whom people benefit." It is up to you to help the Muslim Ummah come together and help guide the youth in remaining on the correct path of Islam. To take part in this global conquest and to spread the message of Imam Hussein, peace and blessings be upon him, please visit www.imamhussein3.tv or give us a call on +44 0203 515 0199. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, or even email us on donate@imamhussein.tv. Let's work together hand in hand to elevate the faith of our Shia today.
The mysteries of Islam fascinate us time and time again. This is no different from the life story of the Prophet. Who was Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam? An illiterate desert merchant who one day stumbled upon amazing Arabic rhetoric? Or was he the creation of Allah's greatest light, sent down to earth to pull man out of ignorance and bring them to the purest of truths? I, Ali Burji, am on a journey to discover the real story behind the Prophet, the real story behind our religion, the root, the beginning, the cradle of civilization.
Many of the youth in the West complain that they don't have an access to an English interpretation, tafsir or commentary of the Holy Quran. It has reached us from the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam that there is no problem that one faces where he or she cannot find its answer within the Holy Quran. Inshallah, one of this year's New Year's resolution will be to connect and to understand the Holy Quran. From the Holy Land of Karbala, and within the vicinity of the shrines of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, we will bring you a series of lectures about the interpretation and tafsir of the Holy Quran. Our aim is to start a series of lectures starting with the first chapter of the Holy Quran and continue inshallah to the last chapter. If you have followed my lectures, you know my style. Inshallah, we will have an action plan within every episode.